as you are probably aware, that we've invited many of you, all of you innovators, many of them, we've had people present their pitch is upstairs, and we've also doing a pitch stage down here. Now, this is in despite of the fact that this is our first international summit, we received an incredible response. Over 75 project teams applied to pitch their solutions today, but we had to put together. We can't have 75 pitches, otherwise everyone would die, would have pitch death. So we put together a shortlist of 40 using our benchmark selection criteria. These are based on 5 principles developed by our team over the years. Relevance to actual needs of refugees, financial, cultural, legal, and operational feasibility. Impact, well-defined net impact on the lives of the displaced. Innovation, so a high level of innovation and or disruption. Scale-up potential in application across a wide spectrum of needs. And sustainability, delivering long-term sustainability. So we're now going to have there's a lot of other stuff I can read here, but I'm not going to bore you with it. It means that, basically it means that you're now going to see sort of a selection of some of the better projects we've seen. And if you kind of feel like, oh my God, Mike, TECHFUGEES, why didn't I get selected or whatever? Don't worry, because you can still get in touch with us, contact us. We're going to be featuring as many of the projects that have been featured today on our website, social media. It's all about getting it out there. And of course, there'll also be, we have, for some reason, journalists love us. So we keep punching all this stuff out to journalists, and they love it too. So don't worry. And in actual fact, I've managed to get somebody who's working on a really interesting project, so we're going to get them to pitch as well. I just found out about them today. So without further ado, they have 3 minutes to pitch. They have slides, and there's we're not doing Q&A, but I might ask some questions. And the idea really being just to present them in front of you, get them out there, and you can see what's going on. So let's have Chiron first up, ladies and gentlemen. Big round of applause. Come on.
Thank you so much. This isn't working. Ah, there it is.
So off you go.
All right, am I supposed to? Yes, there it is. So I'm presenting Chiron Open Higher Education for Refugees today. As you know, education is the main way that we can all achieve our dreams and have a job that is in touch with our ambitions. Today, there is less than 1% of refugees who are attending university, and Chiron is trying to change this. The barriers that are faced by refugees today are the lack of documentation, the lack of information about how they can get into university, language issues, university capacity, and most of all, costs, not just of education, but cost of living on the side of studies. What we're trying to do is to have a world where everyone has an equal opportunity to access and succeed in higher education, which is why we've been using digital solutions to permit refugees to access university in different countries in the world. We have today 2,700 students who are studying with Chiron, a team of 70+ employees, 3 focus countries, and 53 partner universities that are working with us to get refugees into their courses. The 3 focus countries are Germany, where the project originated, France, which I'm the director of, and Jordan. Today in France, we have 200 students, and shout out to the ones of you guys who are here today. Yay, Chiron students! Our project is based on blended learning 2.0. Our innovative approach is using existing digital contents, educational contents that come from Harvard, that come from MIT, and putting them together into modules so that students can do the equivalent of basically 1 year of studies online before they even get the refugee status, before they even learn the language. So there's no time wasted. The first year is online, and the second year, they go directly into university into second year. That means that while usually you would be first learning the language, then getting your status, then finally applying to first year, and by that time you're 52, well, instead, we're getting people into university and into educational courses straight away. Of course, just online learning doesn't work. As you know, MOOCs are really hard. I've never been able to finish one myself. So we have a panel of all these services to help students succeed in higher education. And I'd like to present Raphael, which is the first student in France who is able to enter university here in Paris. And he's going to be a speaker on a panel later, so make sure that you talk to him and he can tell you everything that's amazing about Chiron. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And you will actually see Raphael. He's on a panel. Oh, stay there. Now, quick question: How is it funded? How is it funding?
We work with foundations, with the German government, with international foundations, local foundations, and we're developing a very special self-funded system, which is called Chiron X. We're working with MOOC platforms, a MOOC platform called edX, to devise the system.
And what do you need to continue to scale up?
We need financial support, mainly. We're trying
partnerships, maybe?
Partnerships with universities. That's really what we're looking for today. Universities that are willing to open their doors to technical innovation, educational innovation, and refugees, of course.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Okay. Okay, next up, ladies and gentlemen, we're now going to hear from Ipso Context. Ipso Context. Come on up.
My name is Sven. I am the CTO of Ipso Care, of an international organization which is based in Germany and in Afghanistan. Ipso offers psychosocial care to refugees and all other kinds of traumatized people everywhere in the world now. Despite the fact that we have a clinic in Kabul, a counseling center in Berlin, and 6 cultural containers all over Afghanistan, we are well aware that we cannot reach everybody everywhere. So, so far we have trained 350 psychosocial counselors from 27 countries, and they have so far made 110,000 counseling sessions with people in Europe, Syria, almost everywhere in the world. So we have trained more or less 100 psychosocial counselors in Germany, and they are all refugees. So when you know the refugee status, what it means, you know that they cannot go back to their home countries to help their people, even when they have the training. So we needed a tool that helps us establish a contact between them, our counselors, you see some of them here, and the people in their home countries or in refugee camps in Lebanon, in Syria, and Jordan, or even in Bangladesh. So we needed this tool to have an online conversation between counselor and client. We call them client, not patients. And the obvious solutions like Skype, Hangouts, and WhatsApp were not an option for security and confidentiality reasons. Moreover, we wanted a tool that includes appointment session and user management. And on the other hand, we had a lot of problems with international and national internet restrictions, so we needed a tool that can establish a workaround via tunneling and VPN strategies. So fortunately, we met Simon and from Nextcoder, and they took over the challenge. And
perfect.
he will explain.
Quickly, yeah. So how does it work? You basically, our algorithm presents all the counselors that are lined up. You can book, then the counselor has the mother tongue you need, and then the booking system makes sure that even the counselor is in Berlin, the refugee, for example, or the person in Kabul or in Jordan in the refugee camp can speak to him. It's all encrypted and safe over, and you have just, it's like a video chat. And then on the one hand, there's a counselor, and on the other hand, of course, with a tablet, with a smartphone, or with a computer, there is the refugee, and it's super scalable. We have now we have more than 110,000 users already from Afghanistan to Jordan. We have more than 350 counselors trained. We have now a lot of people active in Berlin who can start. And yeah, now we need you guys to scale this even further. We need the right partners. and yeah, talk to us here at the conference. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks, guys. So, okay, so I'm probably going to repeat myself a little bit. How are you funding yourself right now?
Well, it's mixed. It's the European Union, the German government, some foundations.
Yeah. And as against, so it's in psychosocial care, as against other traditional methods, how much more effective and scalable is this?
You know, maybe how it works. If you go to a psychologist, you take an appointment, and every week you go there, and it takes months and months and months. We need immediate effect, give people hope.
Yeah.
So we focus on their abilities, their skills, the good points.
Yeah.
Not being a refugee, but all the other things there, like maybe they're a butcher or a carpenter or a doctor, and focus on this and empower them to address their problems.
That's
it's
incredible.
scalable, completely. So it works now. We can onboard. We go now to the Ukraine. We are in Syria, in Aleppo. So we have the system. It's built up. It's ready to go. We can now affect more and more people.
That's fantastic. It's absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for coming. Brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, we're whipping through them right now. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, is a project called Quickbed. So come on up, Quickbed.
Hi, nice to meet you. So my name is Paul Emmanuel, and I created Quickbed, which is a platform to allow you to manage your establishment and social accommodation with the best tools. So in 2015, when we started to talk about the refugee crisis, I went to Berlin in order to see how the situation was handled. And I think this is where, by studying the accommodation, I understand what I was meant to do. I came back the next year in 2016 and studied the accommodation and how they were working, all these people that were staying way too long in those accommodation and center hotels in France, and I wanted to do something. So that's why I created Quickbed, to solve the 4 main issues that I could highlight during that study. The first that everyone knows is that those accommodations were not matching with all the demand coming from this refugee coming to Europe. The few accommodation, hotel, center that we had already were all working differently. Center, hotels were working with different level of comfort, different tools. They don't have the same rules and same best practice. And that's why they were the third problem. Many people, many residents from those accommodations has very few successful outcomes. And I think that could have been solved by solving also another problem, which is that those accommodations were not built by and with the community, local community. So with Quickbed product, we started to tackle one by one those problems. Today we tackle one problem. The first is the social accommodation, the productivity tool. We help all those type of accommodation to host like a pro. This is a basic, and we want to share all the best practice that we gather through our study. Manage efficiently your residents, your staff, and keep smooth process in order to solve your second problem. So today, this is what we have. We have like the first tool that is now live in multiple accommodations, and we have in development other tool that people that manage this accommodation will be able to use thanks to smoother process. We are developing also communication tool, because you need to communicate with your staff, with your residents, to manage your partnership in order to take care of your resident, because this is your rock. I mean, this is a rock of your resident. His accommodation, his bed is in your establishment, so you need to take care of them. And that's what we are building in a second step. The third step will be to allow to manage this social support more intelligently by building a social inclusion with the community, visualize the data of each resident, highlight their potential, match them with the right associations. All this is linked to the 4 problems that we saw. Good accommodation, expert support, and then intelligent inclusion will help to solve the main problem, which was the first, which is offer not matching demand. we are basically, with better inclusion, increasing the turnover, and so leaving more space for the newcomers thanks to those good inclusion and people getting more autonomous quicker. So we intend to impact in 3 years around 15,000 people through all the activities referenced on the platform that maybe you can help us to build with partnership. With the cost efficiency of our productivity tools, save 10% in those establishments and increase by 40% the happiness of your residents. We're obviously looking for funding, looking for partnerships, and so I will be here upstairs if you want to talk with me at the end. Thank you very much.
Awesome, thank you. So, quick question, this mainly operating in which countries right now?
In France.
In France, right. And how do you feel that you could transplant it to other territories?
This is totally independent from any regulation or any territory, so you can, best practice of hosting is universal. So this is something that can be like scalable, like with like very easily.
I'm obviously a journalist normally, and unfortunately, journalists are terribly cynical and always ask annoying questions. But in that spirit, what happens? How can you make sure that people are kept safe when they're
inside the establishment? I mean, this is. What do you mean by keeping safe? What is the problem to solve?
Well, like if a bad person decides to,
get into the platform or anything like this. Well, we have a crypto security with 2 key. And so this is one of our main focus. That's why we try to grow slower at the beginning in order to make sure that we comply with the new regulation, European rules that will be in place in 2018. And in order for the physical security, I mean, this is a very flexible platform. Any people that is interested into getting more visibility through all the residents in our establishment, or getting more visibility to the hosts of the establishment to improve their security, are welcome to create with us new models to personalize the platform for all type of hosters.
Great, thank you very much. Thanks very much, Quickbed. Thank you. Next up is Truckshop, ladies and gentlemen, who are going to do a dramatic effect, I think. Come on up, Truckshop. Okay, big round of applause. All right.
I'm all right. There's over 50 of you here, but we don't have enough t-shirts. The reason for this is that last week we had the supplies, but some people received 2 t-shirts instead of 1. So this week, we only have enough t-shirts for the first 3 rows. This is a reality on the ground. The system that organizations use to manage stock is just not efficient. In the summer of 2016, a team of volunteers in Greece founded Truckshop, and we got a warehouse, we processed donations, we founded a system that had freedom of choice at its heart. In many camps, there was no distribution system at all. It was either done randomly or there wasn't any at all. So we built a mobile shop. We went from camp to over 20 camps in the north of Greece and distributed close to over 20,000 people. In May of this year, we opened a free shop in the center of Thessaloniki for refugees and also Greek people. As a Greek person myself, I have to say that the local struggles are often removed from the conversation about the migration crisis. We've been consulting with grassroots in Thessaloniki, Lesbos, Serbia, Calais, to collect the information, the best practices, and also guide the coordinators who will go through winter 2017. There's been progress, but we are far from managing well-managed and fair distributions. From our experience, we understand that what we need is a point-of-sale and warehouse management system that would combine a point-based and also item-specific quotas. So to do this, we need to keep developing existing apps
from our partners, from this collective of coordinators, and combine the information and knowledge, the know-how, to make them versatile enough to adapt to the least generous contexts. As well as a point of sale, we find it useful to tweak and repurpose e-voucher programs with our own system requirements. E-vouchers are delivery tools with credit on them that can be either cash or commodity-based. In this case, it would be commodity-based. What are the benefits? It would automate the process of stock management so that this does not happen again, even though we are too late because winter is around the corner. It would provide the minimum standards spread across the recipient population as fairly as possible, and it would also monitor and analyze item choices to be able to restock accordingly. This is at early stages. With our partners and Truckshop itself, we have over a year of experience on the ground, a network of coordinators, overlapping code that must be combined, and also funding opportunities from our different partners. We're calling out for anyone experienced in warehouses, point of sale systems, e-vouchers, or software engineers, app developers, anyone who can translate Excel sheets into databases. We're calling out to create a team of developers and tech-savvy entrepreneurs who will consult with distribution coordinators and adapt existing solutions to the context on the ground. Thank you.
Want a hand with that?
If
That's
you're
incredible.
interested.
This is great, isn't it? Isn't it fantastic? Right? It's amazing. How much is it going to take? How much does one truck cost?
How much does
Do you
one
know?
truck cost?
Roughly.
Lisa?
Lisa? A lot? Few grand? How much does it cost to fit out this truck? Yeah, but the truck is donated as well?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, amazing. You know, what's the sort of big advantage of this? Do you think? What's the kind of the killer, aspect to this?
Well, we're moving towards dignified and fair distributions, but we are super far away from achieving that. Yeah. In Lesbos, outside of Moria, I had to do distributions every day, and I would spend the second half of that hour saying no to people who wanted to change what they wanted. So the big advantage is offering people the right to freedom of choice and dignity.
Amazing. So, which is really worth remembering, obviously, in the whole process. Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you very much, Truckshop.
Thank you.
Great. Okay. Okay. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, is all industries. It's everything. Come on, then. All industries. Clap. Clap.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Giuseppe Ciarliero, and today I'm presenting our project. Our project is Meet Me, Learn to Integrate. Last April, we won the hackathon organized by TECHFUGEES in Rome, and this is the team. The idea is basically the integration of newcomers, because as we know, once you arrive in a new society, in a new country, you don't know the language, you don't know the customs, you don't know nothing about this new reality that you have to handle and you have to work with. And so we have created Meet Me, a chatbot for integration. I'm sure all of you knows what's a chatbot. Basically, it is a machine. It is a language. It is a conversation with a machine, and it seems to be with a real person. And our idea is to create a chatbot in order to, first of all, teach language to a person, because without knowing the language of the country in which you are, you cannot communicate with others, basically. So, through a gamification strategy, games, quizzes, and all this stuff, you can learn a language. Secondly, once you have already gained a certain knowledge of this language, the machine, through machine learning and artificial intelligence strategies, can enhance, can make more difficult question to you, and can make you understanding reality in which we are living, with the culture, with the habits, and with the civics that this society is bringing with them. First of all, we profile through all these steps. We profile the user, the newcomers, and so the newcomers has some interest. He knows how, I don't know, maybe he likes playing football, or he likes playing chess with the people. So we match the interest of this person, of the newcomer, with the local, and maybe they can meet each other in the real life, and we can create long-standing relationships. This all the project is based on TalkForce, which is the chatbot platform created by all industries. It is a powerful platform that can manage many chatbots, and this is a demo of the project. And of course, we are here today to collect your suggestion. We are looking for partnership to further develop the project, like translators or IT people and stuff like this. And yes, we want to further develop the project. Thanks you.
So people are using chatbots for lots of different kinds of things, and so this is a very interesting application of the idea of chatbots for refugees. What are the barriers to entry? Do you have to be on Facebook, or do you have to be, what do you have?
Yeah, the best way to make the chatbot works, it is like on Messenger, but it can basically works in every instant messaging platform. So, but the platform we are developing is mainly in Messenger. So it could be like a barriers, but it could be also a good opportunity, because Facebook is used by many people. So
and have you tested it? Have you got users?
We are planning to. We have a version, a beta version, but since it is based on a platform, the platform is always is always
so I think
changing.
probably the best thing to do is if you I mean, can we interact with it right now? Can we get onto it? How do we find it right now? How do we find it?
We can give you a try if we met there, because we have on a mobile, and you
okay, so well, come and see you to try it out. Okay,
okay,
great. Thanks very much. Cheers. Okay, now we have I think, how do I say this? HATL, HITL, HITL. Okay, everybody, HITL. Come on.
Hi everyone. Is this somewhere? Okay. Hi. I'm Eva. I'm the founder of HITL. We're a social enterprise based in Bulgaria, and we're currently launching our pilot. So if anyone is interested in partnering with us or supporting us in our launch, do not hesitate to contact me. In Bulgaria, even though there is no legal constraints to the right to work of refugees, they still have a hard time accessing the labor market. And this is because of factors such as the language barrier, the lack of previous education or professional skills, and the dismantling of the state integration system in 2014. So in this situation, we saw an opportunity. Given the rise of the outsourcing industry in Bulgaria, we asked ourselves, what are some easy outsourcing tasks that even people without any previous skills or language capabilities will be able to complete? And it turned out that actually one of the most innovative industries, which is very fab right now, machine learning, needs human input in order to train, test, and improve its algorithms. And this is how we found a human in the loop. We're registered as a company, but we have a very strong social mission, which is to employ and train refugees to provide the so-called human in the loop services to machine learning companies. The principle that we're following is called impact sourcing, or outsourcing with a social mission. Basically, our workers in our office in Bulgaria will be able to provide services to companies worldwide through our partnership with the US-based platform Crowdflower. They have an established client base that includes companies like YouTube and eBay, and they will be providing us with a constant inflow of tasks. On our side, we want to not only be a mobile platform for gigs, for freelancing, but instead to provide financial security and stability to our workers. And this is why we're going to provide them with an office, a laptop, a full-time labor contract with us with like medical insurance and social security, trainings every day, 2 hours a day in English and computer skills, and integration support through our NGO partners. The tasks that we're going to provide are very easy and visual, such as annotating images or providing keywords, but they can be used in order to train computer vision or self-driving cars. We can also provide data services in order to train natural language processing or chatbots, like me. Our vision is that by connecting refugees to this opportunity for employment and training, we will not only enable them to find stability in their lives, but will also make them an active part of a growing technological advancement. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Fantastic. So where's the project at right now? Is it launched? Is it being tested or what?
We are preparing our pilot that is going to be mostly English and computer skills training, and then we're integrating our platform with Crowdflowers so that we can start to test how people are doing with the tasks and how much they're earning per hour so that we can establish our metrics.
So when do you think you'll be able to launch?
In January.
Marvelous. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for
Thanks.
coming. Human in the loop. Next up is sounds like a bit like a movie title, The Unmentionables. So let's hear from them. Coming up. Right.
It was a movie title back in the 80s, and I've adapted it ever since. So there's a reason I'm sitting down, and it's actually because I'm here to talk to you about sex, which is really awkward. So I want you all to think back and remember in high school when you, when you were going through sexual health education. It was awkward, everyone was uncomfortable, but every single person in that class showed up because they wanted the information. Now, imagine trying to access that information as a refugee. You want the information, but there's 1,000 barriers for you to get through to access it. Right now, there are 60% of refugees today that have never had access to sex ed. There are 52% of females that were previously in the Suda camp in Greece that had never been exposed to contraceptive options. And in the Rhino camp in northern Uganda where we work, 83% of reproductive age women noted that they were unaware of the risks of sexually transmitted diseases. That said, 89% of them wanted more access to sexual health education. That said, 92% of them said they would not attend an in-person class because of the cultural barriers to accessing that information safely. We need to do more in this area. Only 4% of refugee-facing organizations in the nonprofit industry are working in reproductive health or note it as a solution that's important to them. 100% of those that do identify it as a solution that's important to them have noted that they do 100% of their work and education programs in person. So our mission through Unfiltered is to provide rights-based sexual and reproductive health education and empowerment lessons through multiple communication methods to ensure that there is safe and consistent access for refugees and asylum seekers around the world for sexual health education. We're developing a multi-platform sexual and reproductive health education platform that's designed to reduce these barriers through 3 different platforms that focus on a web, app, and SMS solution. Our web solution is the hub for our training for educators themselves. It will include curriculum development, various community chat rooms, and teaching resources for them to access within their own communities. Our app solution is refugee-facing and is actually filled with community interactive forums, a gamified curriculum based on current Canadian standards, and introduces a live chat for more personal questions with sexual health educators. And finally, For those that don't have access to a smartphone, we've actually gone low-tech to ensure that they can have access to this solution themselves. So we are building an SMS platform where users that have signed up for this service receive tri-weekly SMS updates on specific sexual health information every single week. For those that are illiterate or have visual disabilities, we have created a call-based platform where they will receive scheduled automated calls per week where they can access this information through audio. So our traction since we launched our education programs in July has been really significant. We've educated 2,700 individuals in 5 countries, but in every single scenario, they have mentioned that they would prefer a solution that isn't in the classroom because of their safety concerns. So we have some amazing partners, and that's actually our ask for right now. We are looking for financial partners and investors for Unfiltered. Those of you that are interested in sexual health education and revolutionizing how this is created for forcibly displaced communities, please come talk to me. That's my contact information, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Jose, just quickly, that's actually, it sounds like you're actually getting somewhere, aren't you? So you've had hundreds of people actually using it. Are they doing? Are they using it in moments of crisis, or are they using it in an ongoing manner, long term?
So right now we just have the web-based solution active, and it has been really fantastic in educating refugee women that are within the refugee community and having them actually deliver sexual health education. It's really great when I get to go and do the education myself, but the barriers are that I don't belong to this community, I don't speak their language, and if I'm educating men, they want nothing to do with me. So by providing the curriculum and education materials in their language online, trainers can access that information to do it themselves within their own community groups, which has been fantastic.
Peer-to-peer.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Kelly. Fantastic. Thank you. Brilliant. Do you want to give that back? Give that to the next person. Next up is Kalam, who've been demonstrating upstairs throughout the conference. So, Kalam, let's hear from you guys. Come on.
Oh yeah, it was working. Hi everyone, my name is Reza and I'm from Kalam. I'd like to tell you about Qaif, a 27-year-old computer scientist who in 2012 fled to Lebanon after being drafted in the Syrian army. In Lebanon, he was one of millions of Syrians who are barred from the local economy and from future life. One of the 65 million displaced people, often in limbo at a border crossing, refugee camp, neighboring country, looking for an opportunity to be resettled or to go back home. Kalam, which means we speak in Arabic, is one of the first social enterprises that is leveraging the internet economy with refugees' native language skill to connect them with users worldwide for online language practice. Refugees, regardless of their location or work status, gain access to income, marketable skills, and a restored sense of dignity, while students have access to affordable, flexible language practice while directly contributing to the partner's livelihood. Mostly focused on Arabic, Kalam's core team, mainly made of dual nationals from the Middle East with a humanitarian background, work with NGOs on the ground to recruit language partners. We train language partners in partnership with university professors, and we pay them through NGOs, local NGOs on the ground. Beyond individual sessions, Kalam is still working in the field of academia. Schools like Tufts, NYU, and a dozen others, sorry for the slides, a dozen others have integrated Kalam conversation sessions in their Arabic curriculum. Institutions like the British Council or the International Rescue Committee actually work with Kalam for translation and interpretation services, which we are developing at the moment. So through Kalam to date, more than 1,800 unique learners from 65 countries have had a conversation with 85 refugees. Beyond being just a passive aid recipient, through Kalam, displaced people have been able to self-generate over $180,000. And we've been lucky to be covered globally for the work we've done. But beyond numbers, Kalam is about human connections. There's no volume. But so this goes back, this is actually Raif, who I was telling you about at the beginning.
Helped me be part of society. I lost my friends in Syria, but I've made new ones here through this little screen.
So this was Raif actually a year ago back in Lebanon, the person I was telling you at the beginning. Right now he's actually in Italy. Through one of his Kalam students, he has been resettled in Italy where he's actually studying international relations, and he's actually an Arabic teacher assistant at Padua University. And the question is, how can we get more cases, success cases like Raif? One, talk about Kalam. The more people sign up, it makes a difference. Introduce us to your universities and your schools to create new partnership, and help us find new translation opportunities. We are currently building a roster of qualified refugee translators. At a time where our leaders, especially in the US, are talking about building walls, we at Kalam are building bridges. Thank you.
Thank you. That's really amazing. Fantastic stuff. What do you really need right now? What do you desperately need?
Partners.
Partners.
So we want to expand because we've tested our product. It works. We're creating a platform at the moment. So new users, new universities are interested in partnership. Translation opportunities. Again, we're working with IRC and British Council. We've tested our product with them.
Great. Have you got any contacts in the UK yet?
We do have, actually. We have a small team of volunteers working in the UK.
Okay, let's talk about that later. Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Okay. And we've got one final entry. Come on up, Symmetry. They're late entry. I dragged them off the floor to pitch. No slides. Just go for it. Off you go.
Hi, everyone. I'm sorry I don't have any slides today. My name is Anila Qureshi, and I am the co-founder of Symmetry. Symmetry is a combination of software, hardware, and blockchain technology that will give an integration platform to help give resources in real time. How am I going to do that? Well, it sounds really complicated. I plan on giving every refugee a biometric smartphone by the end of 2020. That sounds really ambitious and still very ambiguous, I know. So I aim to do this by creating an integration platform that standardizes distribution to create a digital securitization. And I want to be able to give refugees the ability to hold their identity and their data and be able to give what they want, but also receive everything in real time. So I want to create an ecosystem for all of you app developers to be able to be in one spot for all refugees to be able to see what they want and when they want and have it at their fingertips. So right here is our prototype. It is a biometric smartphone, which I keep saying, and it costs less than $50 to make. And by the end of next year, it'll probably be less than $30. So being able to provide them with free data and service with everything from pre-departure all the way to social cohesion will help them be integrated back into society with meaningful independence and mindful integration. So I'm not sure if you know this, but about $43 billion a year is lost to misappropriation, corruption, and mishandling of goods. And I want to be able to eliminate that completely with blockchain technology. And I want to be able to bridge the gap between NGOs, governments, and refugees. I grew from a team from 3 to about 30 in a matter of weeks. I'm almost done making my platform integration software, and we want to be able to test that in the coming weeks by going to a refugee camp with our phone. And we want to start doing that by creating an identity wallet on a phone and seeing what people say in camps. Our CTO has worked in 2 projects, one being seawater greenhouse that desalinates salt water to help create fresh produce in Somaliland. And he also helps the unbanked in Nigeria get microfinancing loans. I have a CFO that runs a $400 million hedge fund and is a London strategist. And he helps to create a very low-cost, safe, economic way for investors, NGOs, and refugees so that nothing is of any cost. I also have a COO in the audience. She spent 10 years in crisis management, and she helps me make partnerships, which we've been doing very well so far. We have, on this platform, we want to be able to bring direct cash aid, language learning, education, and much more. So, yeah.
Okay.
At the moment, we would like to get funding for our pilot, so we're asking for $300,000, and we want to be able to create more partnerships through that and go to camps. And then by the end of Q2, which is February, we aim to do a Series A funding. I want to be able to connect everyone in the world so that they're no longer disconnected. And I know that's less than 3 minutes, but I don't have slides.
Well done. Well done. Now, you see, the thing is, the trouble is that I think this just isn't ambitious enough.
What?
I mean, you know, I think you're setting your sights too low. It's an amazing project. I mean, how do you get a phone that's worth $50? Like, can I have one?
Yeah, of course.
$50. That's astounding. I'm joking. I'm joking, of course. But I mean, what's going on is that, I mean, why are we paying so much for our phones? I don't get it.
Well, I think the cost of manufacturing for smartphones, because the barrier of entry was way too high. And the past 10 years, there's been a big boom. There's actually a lot coming down, and within the next year, even SIM cards are being cut down by 50% in terms of manufacturing. So I think there's a lot of opportunity there.
Can I ask a really dumb question?
Sure.
What happens if you lose your phone?
So
if your entities on it?
Because
it's all held on the
NGOs and because there are NGOs and governments that are acting all together, they'll be able to go to like their clinics or their schools and be like, "Can you identify me?" Right. And they'll be able to be identified very easily doing everyday things. And
okay. Well, I mean, I'm definitely going to follow the progress of this. I mean, it sounds amazing, doesn't it? I mean, congratulations. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Okay.
If you want to get in touch with me, there's more than enough of.
How do we? Oh yeah. What's your email address? How everyone can email you?
So my name is Anila. It's at symmetry.com. SYMMITREE.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well done. Thank you.